And welcome back to the channel where we talk about only good comics. I'm Brant, and this is Friday First. This is that series where we talk about those brand new #1 issues, new character debuts, new story arcs, and the like. And this is for books coming out on May 21st, 2025. So, first of all, I apologize once again for it being a Saturday edition of First, but yesterday was my 5-year wedding anniversary, and we had some plans, and they ran a little bit longer than I anticipated. And of course, that was the priority. We went and had a nice dinner, saw a movie, that kind of thing. So we had a good time, and yeah, so 5 years we had to celebrate it, So thank you for being patient with me and sticking with me for a Saturday edition of First here. And I know it's kind of later in the day. I intended on getting it up this morning, and it just didn't work out either. Had a lot of things to do today as well. So, but here I am. We've got an episode of First. Knock that light down because it's putting a glare on that picture there. Sorry about that. And yeah, so we don't have a whole lot of books to talk about, but I do have 4 recaps. I actually did get to read 4 of the first so far. So we're going to get into that first. And then I think I have 2 shout outs and then like 6 other books and then only 6 other anticipated as well. It's a smaller week, but there are some good books. So we're going to talk about those. So let's dive into those recaps. First up, we're going to talk about Transformers issue number 20. This, the reason this was on here is because it was first appearances in this issue of both Transformers and G.I. Joe characters. So, first of all, I love Transformers. I love this version of Transformers specifically. I think they've done a really good job of just kind of slowly filling this world with all of these characters, both in G.I. Joe and Transformers, and in Void Rivals, of course, as well. Sprinkling them here and there, not like throwing them all at you in a single issue either. And as they introduce new ones, they kind of do away with some of the old ones at times. Whether that's they go on missions or they die or they transform into other things or whatever the case may be. They are doing a really good job of balancing the various characters. So in this issue, this is Megatron's big comeback, his return to power, right? He's facing off against Starscream, who thinks he's going to murder him and all this stuff. And in the meantime, Optimus Prime is licking his wounds. He knows Megatron's back. He knows he's got war coming, kind of nipping at his heels. And in the meantime, he's feeling this change in him because he's got Megatron's arm. And he knows Megatron's going to come after that arm as well. But it seems to be swaying the personality of Optimus Prime, kind of reverting him back to his war times. And also, you've got Shredhead, the new Transformer made out of Carly's van, who is going after Carly now, which is kind of cool. And you have, so I'm going to spoil this a little bit. So if you have not read Transformers number 20 yet, keep that in mind. Fast forward until you don't see the cover on this, on the screen of Transformers, because I'm going to spoil who they introduced in this issue, because I thought it was pretty cool. So first of all, with Starscream, there's a thing between Starscream and Megatron. I'm not going to spoil that, the way it goes down. And it's very familiar between those two, and it felt like at times you're watching the cartoon, reading the classic comics. It's this dysfunctional relationship between Megatron and Starscream. Starscream was perfectly snivelly here, so I love that. But in terms of characters debuting here, we saw the return of the aerial bots, all of them. So we now have the means to create their own combiner into Superion. So I think that was his name. So that's pretty cool. Love seeing all the aerial bots make their debut in the Energon universe. On the G.I. Joe side of things, we got Doc. As soon as I saw him, before I read anything, I was like, that's Doc. So that's really cool. We already got Mask showing up in the Free Comic Book Day stuff with Matt Tracker. Now we've got Doc here. We've got the aerial bots. this is just a great time to be a Transformers and GI Joe and just Hasbro 80s fan, right? If they're going to start introducing mass characters into this as well, oh my goodness. And then you've got Void Rivals, which ties into Transformers in a weird, unexpected way. So just great stuff all around. Love Transformers in general, but issue 20 was a really good issue as well. And it was a build-up issue, but it was done right with emotional punches, with action, with some surprises and twists and turns. Just so much goodness in Transformers. Next up, we have Huck Big Bad World issue 1. This is the long-awaited return of Huck. And Huck finds out that there might be other people that have similar powers to him and his mother. So in the process, he's in the process of saving some people on a boat. And this mysterious man shows up at his mom's house. And before all that, we get a flashback to when his mom was young. And we find out the origin of how she got powers. And the way it was done, you could see how other people might get these powers as well. So I don't think this man's telling the truth. Whether his motives are true or not, time will tell. But Huck, dealing with some personal drama of his own, and things start off kind of poor for him, but he's a happy guy. He's, positive all the time, and he's ready to go help. But I think there's a lot more twists and turns coming our way. The tone was perfect. It felt like just a natural progression and natural continuation from that first series. And now he's on this other adventure to find other people like him. And we're going to see how fast that falls apart. So I thought this was a really good first issue. Gwenpool issue number 1. This went in a direction I wasn't expecting. So I thought it was just our Gwenpool turning dark or whatever, but that's not the case. This is a whole other character. Now, we do get Gwenpool in here, and we get Kate Bishop, and we get Spider-Man. We get some, I think it was Spider-Man. Yeah, it was Spider-Man. we get Fin Fang Foom, but then there's like this sinister plot of this Gwen Stacy, who's not Gwendolyn Poole. She's Gwen Stacy in this book, coming into play as well. And we don't know what the end game is here. We just know that there's something heavy at stake and something that's making Peter Parker's Spidey sense go crazy. And Gwenpool's usual antics are at play here. She's jumping between the white borders of the panel and all this stuff, and breaking the fourth wall, and talking about the artist of the book and all this stuff. So it's classic Gwenpool stuff. And I love that we get a reuniting of two of the characters from the West Coast Avengers run that had Kate Bishop and Gwenpool in it. So, and Jeff Delandshark's in this as well. So fun time all around. I thought this was a pretty solid issue. Whether it's going to continue to entertain at that level, I don't know, because now we've we turned it to the darker tone as this new character comes in, and we'll see what the second issue brings us. But this first issue was a lot of fun. And finally, of course, this was the first book I read. Naturally, Invincible Universe, Battle Beast, issue 1. Been talking about this for a while. This character was in season 3 of Invincible. Really great debut in that series as well. And we kick off this issue flashing back to what happened in Invincible, and he just leaves saying, "Nobody here's worthy of my strength. Nobody's worthy to take me on." And all the characters in Invincible just laying there bloodied and beaten, being like, "Dang, dude, come on." So that was funny. It was a funny way to start it. So we kind of get the backstory of why Battle Beast is the way he is and what exactly motivates him. And then we go on this journey as he's trying to find the biggest, the baddest, someone that can give him a challenge and possibly end his life to put him out of his misery. That's what this is about. But the tone, the dialogue, the conversation between him and this computer, just the way he talks in general, it was just all so much fun. It felt like something straight out of Invincible. Of course, it's Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley, You would think, given the time gap, that maybe it wouldn't quite measure up, but I thought it nailed it. It was like I just picked up Invincible again and started reading a side story of a side character within the Invincible comic. And that's what it felt like. And reading in the back, as Robert Kirkman talked about how he never left the franchise, how he was already working on the TV show and all this other stuff while Invincible was going on, and basically he just continued straight from there into the Invincible, TV show and all that stuff. So he's been living in this world nonstop since the beginning. And so that's why it feels seamless and just organic. And I love this character. I love this story so far. The art is top notch. And yeah, it's just fun to have something connected to Invincible back again. Absolutely love this book, and I cannot wait to read the next issue. So that's all the recaps I've got. I did make it through about half of Supergirl, and I made it through because I needed a break from that one. That one was kind of wordy. And then I made it through a few pages of Exquisite Corpses, but then I realized how long that book was, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to finish this in time for this video. So, but so far, so good with that book. Supergirl, it hasn't won me over yet, but we'll see how it does once I've read the entire issue. So we'll see with that. But let's get into those shout outs, or honorable mentions, I should say. So first of all, I forgot to put the Saturday graphic over the honorable mention images. Apologize for that. But anyway, first one is Ghostbusters Dead Man's Chest from Dark Horse. This is a new miniseries that they do. And this one is written by David M. Boer, who I am a fan of. I really enjoy his work. I don't always get the Ghostbuster miniseries, though. Just so many comics to read and so forth. But if you're a fan of his, or you're a Ghostbusters fan, definitely go check this one out. I'll read the description. It says, Ghostbusters' increasing notoriety is throwing them for a loop, while Trevor steadies himself by trying to plan a friendiversary celebration for him and Lucky. Phoebe meets someone who might be a real friend instead of just a social media follower. But friendships, new and old, have to take a back seat to more immediate concerns, where a ghostly saber summons the ghost of Captain Kidd and threatens to transform NYC into a ghostly pirate town. So if that sounds fun to you, go check it out. Next up, we have The Curse of Shirley Johnson, issue number 1. This is in the Spawn universe. So not my thing. I don't read Spawn. But this one is written by Daniel Henriquez and art by Jonathan Glapion. So if you are a fan of Spawn, if you're a fan of this character, this story, or those creators, you might want to check this out. I'll read this one as well. It says, what happened to Shirley Johnson, the 7-year-old victim of the infamous serial killer Billy Kincaid? The Curse of Shirley Johnson, an epic new chapter in the Spawn universe, explores the fate of the innocent young girl. Her harrowing adventures with the stranger are laid bare as her story and the world she now inhabits is revealed. With a story conceived in the twisted mind of Daniel Henriquez and interior art by celebrated artist Jonathan Glapion, the reader will explore parts of the Spawn universe never before seen. So if that sounds good to you, go check it out. But with that, let's get into those rated books. All right, first up is a new comic from Image Comics called Sleep, issue number 1. And this is written by and illustrated by Xander Cannon. So this concept is basically Sleepwalker meets the Venom symbiote, I guess, because basically this guy, Jonathan Reason, when he falls asleep, he goes out and kills people, and he has no idea, no recollection. He is basically sleepwalking and killing people, and he wakes up covered in blood, and this is where the story begins. It's a horror mystery, and it's by this creator also did Heck, Top 10, and Kaiju Max. So if you're a fan of any of those series, I don't think I read any of them. I think Mike might have read Kaiju Max, or I don't remember exactly. But I have not read any of those. So, but if you are a fan of any of those, you might check this out. This concept sounds pretty cool to me. It sounds interesting. The cover uh, reminds me of some other books I've enjoyed from Image in recent months. So I'm going to check it out, at least the first issue, and see what it's all about. But I'm going to give this one a potentially good, just because the concept sounds kind of cool. So we'll see what it's like. Next up is Hulk and Doctor Strange issue number 1. This is the next book in J. Michael Straczynski's team up books with Doctor Strange. This one's illustrated by Jermaine Peralta. And basically, Doctor Strange and Bruce and the Hulk are going inside the psyche of Bruce Banner, and we're going to, I think we're going to travel back into the past, obviously, because we're going to be flashing back within his psyche and going to the origin of the Incredible Hulk in this. Plus, we get a backup story with May Parker teaming up with Agatha Harkness for some odd reason. And it's called The Mighty Marble Manor. So that's interesting. So yeah, some of these have been pretty fun. If you've been enjoying them, you might check it out. For this one, I'm going to give it a possibly good, because I'm not the hugest Hulk fan. I don't know. So I don't know if I'm even going to get this one, but yeah, some of the ones that I've read, some of the team up books like this have been pretty fun. So, is what it is, but possibly good. One I will be getting, though, is The Vision and the Scarlet Witch issue number 1. This is continued to be written by Steve Orlando, and art is by Lorenzo Tometa. And this is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the wedding of Scarlet Witch and the Vision. 50 years. That's crazy. So they're reunited under these weird circumstances. Now, if you know anything about the Scarlet Witch series, since Steve Orlando's been writing this and she's been in this shop of curiosities kind of thing, there is this door called the Last Door. And when people need help, they find this mysterious door floating in the air, and they walk through it and they come into her shop, and she goes and helps them. That's basically what the series has been since Steve Orlando started writing the various volumes of the series. So now doors are starting to pop up all over the place, and Vision goes to inspect them, to investigate what the heck's going on. And something big happens that mortally wounds him. And so Scarlet Witch goes to, the extreme measures to save him. And that's kind of where this story, picks up. That's where it takes place. So I've really, really enjoyed Steve Orlando's run on Scarlet Witch, and every issue is just a joy for me. They're not all 100% winners. There are some that are a little bit slower, or there might be a one-off or a short arc that isn't my favorite, but all in all, I've enjoyed it. And the through line of the story and the characters, we have Darcy from Thor movies in there as well. It's just been fun. I really like his voice for these characters. So I'm definitely on board for this one, and I'm giving this one a promisingly good. Next up, we have The Thing, issue 1. And this one is written by Tony Fleecs. So that's the main reason my ears are perking up. I think the art is by, what is it? Justin Mason. I'm not too familiar with Justin Mason's work, but I am very familiar with Tony Fleecs, and I'll check out anything Tony Fleecs is involved with, at least in the issue. So that's, I'm kind of excited about this, actually. So basically, before, Ben Grimm was the Thing, before he was involved with the Fantastic Four at all and all that stuff, he was, a kid from Yancey Street, just a scrawny little kid. And so somebody from his past, presumably on Yancey Street, otherwise why would the description say that, comes back into his life and needs his help to search for a missing kid. And so, of course, Ben Grimm's going to leap into action, even if it means he becomes a wanted man in the process. So it says, get ready to see the ever-loving Blue-Eyed Thing versus every super-powered criminal and bounty hunter in New York City. Fleecs and Kirk. Who's Kirk? give a glimpse into the history of the Thing that reminds you why Ben Grimm is the heart of the Marvel Universe and why you don't want to let him hear you say that. Maybe League of Comic Geeks got the artist wrong. It's possible. Not sure. Anyway, no, the cover says Mason too. I don't know who Kirk is. But anyway, yeah. So either way, it's Tony Fleecs on the Thing. Kind of a fun sounding story. So, the cover looks, fun and energetic as well. So I'm all for this. I'm going to give this one a promisingly good, and I'm looking forward to it. So next we have Spider-Man and Wolverine issue number 1. This is written by Mark Guggenheim with art by Kara Andrews. Now, I really like Kara Andrews' art, but I don't know if we need this series. I'm not excited about this one. I'll be perfectly honest with you, and I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm giving this one a possibly good. I'm not sure if I'm going to check this one out or not, but I definitely wanted to make everyone aware of it. And again, I like Kara Andrews' art, so there is that. And Guggenheim's a really good writer. So, but I don't know if I need a team up book with Spider-Man and Wolverine. This feels like something from the 90s. So I'm gonna read a little bit of this. Let me skip past the hyperbole at the beginning. It's the biggest adventure in Marvel Comics. Who or what is targeting this unlikely duo, and what can they do to stop it? Get ready for a non-stop thrill ride of big villains, bigger threats, and even bigger surprises as Logan and Peter Parker team up against the machinations of a plot too big for just one hero. So it doesn't really give you anything to hold on to, right? It's very vague. It's like, this is the best thing ever. These are the 2 best characters ever, and they're going to fight a bunch of big characters that we're not going to tell you about. I don't know how to feel about this one. So I try to keep it positive here. Again, I like the artist on this book, so we'll see. I'll wait and hear what you all have to say about it. And yeah, let me know if I should pick this up. Let me know if this is something that should be on my radar. But for now, it's a possibly good for me. And lastly, the highly anticipated Superman Unlimited issue number 1, written by Dan Slott with art by Rafael Albuquerque. So excited for this. Phenomenal creative team. Can't wait to see what Dan Slott does with Superman. And the plot for this book is interesting as well. So basically, there's an asteroid hurtling through Earth the size of Metropolis, and Superman is sent out by the Justice League to stop this threat. But there's something inside the asteroid that glows green that presents a problem for Superman, and it seems like it seems to be inferred that whatever this is, and obviously probably something kryptonite based, maybe infects the Earth in some way, or people on the Earth some way, or whatever, because it says this. It says, let me find it. The last son of Krypton must risk everything to save his adopted home, the very home which now tries to kill him from complete destruction. So it either transforms the world or transforms something in the world that is attacking him and glowing green, which is obviously a point to kryptonite. So not sure exactly what this is going to be, but it's enough to keep you intrigued. It's enough to be like, okay, I got to read this to find out what the heck's going on. So I'm excited for this. I think it's hit all the notes so far. And then you've got Albuquerque on art. You got Slott, who is, primarily known for his Marvel stuff, his Spider-Man stuff in particular. So I'm really curious to see what he can do with Superman here. I'm giving this one a promisingly good, and this is probably my most anticipated book of the week. So I'm really excited about this, and yeah, we'll see what happens with it. We'll know after that first issue what the tone is and all that stuff. So yeah, exciting time for Superman fans. And that's it for the first. So we're going to talk about those other books real quick. Only have 6 this week. We've got Bug Wars issue number 4, Slade has this. He's imbued with the power of the amulet now, fighting against um, blood crazed, I should say, blood crazed mosquitoes. In this, he's basically in this. What do you call it? A Coliseum kind of like gladiator games and fighting against mosquitoes. So really interesting stuff going on in this series. It's out there, but it's fun. Doom Academy #4. Um, I I like this book. It's not like knocking it out of the park for me. It's not quite as good as Strange Academy, but I do love seeing the Strange Academy kids here. And now we finally rescued Zoe from the book last issue, and now she's saying she's got to go back because obviously she's got to rescue the other girl. So we're gonna go into that, and then it says, and then on top of that, it says, what new horror did she discover in the Latvian fairy tale land, and what does it have to do with Doctor Doom, and what makes this Greta girl so important? So we got a little bit more mystery to unravel in this series as well. So that could be interesting. Then we have the Amazing Spider-Man issue #4. I know this is one of those books for people that's like you're either enjoying this run or you think it's whatever. I like it. It's far better than what we've been getting for years now, I think, in my opinion. I've enjoyed this so far. I think the art's really good. But now we're at this point where he's facing down the Hobgoblin, and so he also finds out who the mastermind behind this whole plot is. So I'm looking forward to discovering that in this next issue. Rogue Sun issue #27. Morningstar's forces are conspiring against Dylan and Ori as they find themselves at odds, and Marcus's approval is hanging in the balance. So it's been interesting because they introduced the series his half sister into the mix. So it's made things a little bit more interesting. So I like that change, and enjoying the I'm enjoying this current arc that's going on a lot better than I did the previous one. In Absolute Flash #3, the Rogues are pressing the attack against Wally, and his back's up against the wall, so he's still trying to get away from the Rogues and everything. This has been a really solid series as well. All the Absolute books are actually really good. The only one that I personally, I think Wonder Woman, I like the art change on Wonder Woman. If it goes back to the other art, I won't like it as much because I really didn't like the art in the first few issues of that book. So that was the least, but I don't love Martian Manhunter. It's just not for me, but the rest of them I think are stellar. And then finally, the Ultimates #12. Dissent is spreading through the Ultimates as there's this big disagreement that's been building up between two members of the team that leads to one of them leaving, and it's devastating for the team. So looking forward to that as well, because this book has really picked up since that fight with Hulk. So that's it. That's all the books. I'm starting to get hoarse already for some odd reason, but smaller week, but still some good books and some fun reading ahead for all of us, hopefully. So I'd love to hear what you think about this episode, what you think about the books coming up this week, what your thoughts are on Superman Unlimited. Are you excited? Are you not? Love to hear it. And let me know if I should pick up that Spider-Man Wolverine book. So also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help. Consider hitting that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss any of the other content on this channel or any episode of Friday or Saturday First. Of course, you can follow me across social media at Only Good Comics, or type in onlygoodcomics.com to take you right back to this YouTube channel where we talk about only good comics. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care. Keep reading those comics, and I'll see you soon.